Chiefs are coming off a tough Super Bowl loss to the Eagles and are looking to bounce back to their championship ways. GM Brett Veach spoke to the team's strategy ahead of Thursday's draft. Take a listen.
We always want to surround Pat with playmakers, and the more talented wideouts you can throw on the field at one time is something important to us. And depth at running back, and look, this kickoff role too. I mean, ideally, it would be advantageous for us to identify a receiver and/or running back that has explosive playmaking ability on both ends. Remigio did a great job, but again, we're always pushing the envelope to get 1% better.
I think it's important to mention that Kansas City had significant injuries last year, whether it was Pacheco, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, and the offensive line was never really able to settle in. But I think you can expect someone as shrewd and crafty as a Brett Veach to be aggressive in this draft, Colin.
Well,
and as a result, go get another weapon or two for Pat Mahomes. One more note, Andy Reid loves his running backs. This is a very deep running back class. I would expect them to target that as well.
Yeah, there are two things they really need to upgrade: O-line and the running back room. Everything else, they're fine.
Yeah.
Worthy, Rashee Rice. Listen, they, like everybody else, have missed on receivers. It's the hardest position in the league. There's more of them, but there's more drama and ego at wide receiver. So it's funny. I think the Chiefs will make the playoffs, but I have the Chargers winning the division. And I think a lot of this, it's not a knock on them. It's just the reality of they were 11-0 in one-score games, and that's historically unprecedented. So, and I also think the division now, Jim Harbaugh gets another draft. Harbaugh in year 2 is when he pops. Your Michigans.
Sean Payton, another draft too.
Yep. And by the way, Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, and Geno Smith, major upgrade for the Raiders. So I think it's now the best division in football. And so just based on that and not going 11-0 in one-score games, I think the Chiefs are a playoff team, but I think they pull back in terms of regular season dominance.
I think also address offensive line, to your point, another weapon or two. And again, with the running backs, Andy Reid and Brett Veach always find running back value. Look at Isaiah Pacheco. They're going to find it again in this draft, especially given how deep it is.
Yeah, let's talk about this, because I think the conversations around the Chiefs has gotten pretty interesting. People are forgetting how injured this Chiefs team was, and they're acting like this was just kind of the season. Now, to be clear, the way how this season unfolded and the way how they lost to the Eagles, even if they were healthier throughout the season, like I don't think it, I don't think it's a difference between them winning a Super Bowl and not. Kind of like how Lions fans are trying to act like, oh, if their defense was healthy, they win the Super Bowl. It's like, it's a bridge too far for me. But people are kind of using this last season as a way to just really completely bury them. Like Colin is like, oh, they were in all these close games and this, that. But if you're looking at it from a Chiefs perspective, you're going to be like, well, we should be in less close games because our offense should be better. Now, there's obviously question marks about the O-line, which I think is totally fair. You have to figure out what's going on with Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. You're going to have some of those question marks. What does it look like in the draft? Is the defense going to continue to be as potent as it's been? It's been a great defense for the last few years running. Will there eventually be some pullback on that? How long can you maintain this top defense in the NFL? Those are some of the question marks. If anything, you can probably anticipate that the offense should take a few steps forward and the defense should take like a step back, just because of, you can only be at the top for so long. That's kind of typically what we see within the NFL. So it's just going to be interesting to see kind of what this team looks like. But this idea that they're just done, or that it's just, kind of game, set, match. Like, this is what always kind of drives me crazy about the conversations that we have with sports and in the media, because, just think about it. Going into the Super Bowl, everybody was talking about how this is the greatest team ever. They're going to three-peat. This dynasty is unbelievable. Patrick Mahomes is Michael Jordan. You know, this is the Chicago Bulls. This is just, you know, the greatest dynasty ever. Unstoppable. Patrick Mahomes, he's going to three-peat. He's going to officially be the GOAT above Tom Brady, etc., etc. And now they lose the Super Bowl. And it's just like, guys, calm down with the GOAT talk. This team wasn't that good. Look at all the close games they won throughout the season. You can't expect them to continue to do that. This O-line is a mess. Blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, nothing actually fundamentally changed. The roster was still the same. They just lost to the Eagles. So before that game, they were the greatest team ever. Steph Curry's Michael Jordan, right? Like, they're just unbeatable. No one can get to them. This is the dynasty. Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT. They lose, and now it's, guys. The dynasty is over. Patrick Mahomes, easy with the GOAT talk. He's got a long way to catch Tom Brady, you know, and it's just kind of like whiplash here. It really is. Going into that Super Bowl, it was endless praise. You couldn't even say anything remotely negative about the Kansas City Chiefs or even raise a concern. You couldn't even remotely be like, I don't know. Do they have enough weapons on offense to compete with the Eagles? And it was like, it was blasphemy. It was just, this is ridiculous. How dare you doubt the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, and Andy Reid? How dare you doubt Travis Kelce? And it was like, this offense for the Eagles is really good. How dare you doubt Spags? And then they lose. And all the shows just essentially made fun of the Kansas City Chiefs, especially the shows that are not like traditionally sports shows. Like, I remember Michael, and I don't watch these shows, but like, you know, Michael Strahan's on one of those, like, I don't know, daytime shows or something, right? Where he's like sitting in a chair, like talking to some woman or something, whatever those shows are. And like, he was like making fun of the Kansas City Chiefs, you know, using them as like the butt end of a joke. And like, literally not even 24 hours prior to that, like essentially like 12 hours prior to that, it was like nothing but universal praise. So we just have these swings. And it's jarring, quite frankly. It's jarring. And it's kind of funny because you see this in the games when you watch, whether it's basketball, football, those games kind of have momentum shifting a lot throughout the game. You know, you probably experience this. You're watching a game. Let's just use the Eagles and the Chiefs as an example. And the Eagles are winning. And it's just like nothing about how amazing this Eagles team is. And oh my God, you just can't stop them. They're so amazing. And now the Chiefs come back, and now the Chiefs are winning, and now it just switches. The Chiefs, they're just the best team. No one can stop them. You know, they're never out, even when they're down. And you know, this Eagles team, you know, they've blown a lot of leads over this, you know, over the last few weeks. And you know, it just, no matter whoever's winning, that's where all the momentum is. And whenever the other teams lose, when it gets reversed, it's just like, well, we're now gonna hop over here. And it's like that within a game when commentating, and it's like that when the game is over. And now, right now, it's just very much, you know, in style to just kind of doubt and criticize the Chiefs. And I get it, because it's kind of this like, you know, rebalancing. Because again, you couldn't give any pushback for the Chiefs, and quite frankly, the media never did. You know, like, you know, whether it was FS1, ESPN, you know, whatever it was. Maybe not everyone was extreme as, like, you know, Nick Wright, but, like, for the most part, you were hard-pressed to find people really doubt the Chiefs too much. And now that they lost, it's like opened up the floodgates for that. So I'm so interested to see how the Chiefs kind of play moving forward. I just think as long as you, and I've said this so many times, I don't really think this is like that groundbreaking of a take. It's just as long as you have Andy Reid, Spags, and Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs are always going to be a team that you have to reckon with. To me, it continues to be more about the other teams. Can the Ravens take the step forward? Can the Bills take a step forward? It's not so much about the Chiefs taking a step back. It's, do these other teams, are they able to take a step forward? That's to me what it's more about, because you're right, because the Chiefs will always find a way to draft that person. They will find a way to get that random free agent that a lot of people weren't really thinking much about, and then he's going to now have great production. To me, and I kind of keep saying this in all my Chiefs takes because it's just, there still are going to be question marks with some suspensions and whatnot. And I know even with Xavier Worthy, they settled out of court, but the NFL still does their own investigations. And if they still feel that things were kind of messy, they can still offer suspensions. I doubt that'll happen, but it's, obviously, a thing that happens within the NFL. It's not a matter of just breaking the law or having, something formally happen from a legal standpoint. Ezekiel Elliott was suspended for some of his behavior, and he didn't break any laws and whatnot. So you just don't know what else the NFL is really doing from that standpoint. And everyone's still kind of waiting on the Rashee Rice aspect of all of that, and so that will influence their offense again potentially. Even just missing Rashee Rice is enough. Because now you have to question what does the core of Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce, and Hollywood Brown look like? It's just like, I don't know. And you no longer have DeAndre Hopkins, and it's not like he was earth shattering for the Chiefs, but he was still another dude that the defense obviously had to worry about. And then obviously the question marks around the O line. So there's still a lot of lack of clarity around this team, but to me, there's no question about their ability to win games. And give me a ragtag team that are just happening to wear the Kansas City Chiefs jersey, as long as Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback and as long as Andy Reid's the head coach and Spags is the defensive coordinator. I mean, it just, you'd be hard pressed to find me being like, yeah, the Chiefs have no chance, game over, better luck next year. Like, it's just not going to happen. We talk about this all the time. Coaching and quarterback play is just the most important thing for a football team, and the Chiefs have that locked, just taken care of 100%. So that alone is just always going to give you a chance. I would love, one day maybe when AI gets more powerful, I would love to be able to just like lift up Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Spags, and just like put them on the Jacksonville Jaguars, on the New York Giants, and just like see what that would look like. See how instantly those teams change and how they play, because it's just, I think it's hard to even just really comprehend how much that matters, which is why you just, as long as that trio is there, you can never go too far on the negative. Doesn't mean that they're going to win. Doesn't mean that they're going to be dominant. Doesn't mean that they're going to be guaranteed to get to the AFC championship. Doesn't mean that they're going to win the division. Doesn't mean that they're going to win the Super Bowl. Doesn't mean any of that. But people are kind of trying to paint, like we saw J-Mac do, like pretty much be like this team is going to fall so far that they're literally going to become the Tom Brady-less New England Patriots. That they're going to become, the Carolina Panthers with Andy Dalton. That they're going to become the Cleveland Browns with, like, pick your quarterback, Jameis Winston, like, who knows? Like, and it's just like, that is just where we're like, okay, we're still kind of confused how you win games in the NFL. You're so confused when a team is really well run, even if you lose, even if you get embarrassed, even if you have a really bad showing in a Super Bowl, throughout a whole season, whatever it may be. It's like, you're still going to find your way through it. And just this automatic, well, they won so many close games last season, therefore they're not going to win as many close games this season. Yes, if we could guarantee that they were going to be in the same number of close games, then that logic would work and would make sense, but you're not necessarily expecting that. So you have to figure out, do you think that I almost said the Golden State Warriors, I don't know where that came from, that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be able to take a step forward, or that these other teams are going to be able to take a step forward? That's what you really kind of have to figure out, not so much of, well, they won a lot of close games last season, and so they're probably not going to win as many close games. That's actually really not the argument. Are they taking a step forward? Are they taking a step back? And more importantly, are the other teams around them taking steps forwards? Are the Chargers taking a step forward? Are the Broncos taking a step forward? Are the Bills, the Ravens, etc.? That is the question more than anything. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Kansas City Chiefs? you know, how good do you think they'll be this year? What do you think about the conversation surrounding them? You know, just not being who they once were. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.